Hello, my karmically connected friend. Have you ever, in the quietest moments of late afternoon, asked yourself what would happen if the peace you've been frantically searching for your entire life has actually always been lying there, right within you? As we step onto this stage of life, we often feel like we're standing at a foggy crossroads. The goals of fame, fortune, and ambition that once ignited us in our youth now suddenly seem faded and meaningless. The body that was once flexible and strong now begins to speak up with slow changes and aches. And sadly, beloved friends and dear relatives are gradually leaving us to return to the white clouds. In those immense voids, a great and persistent question often arises in the heart. Who am I now that my social roles have ended, and what is truly important in this remaining journey? But please do not let fear invade your heart. Under the insightful light of the Buddha's wisdom, old age is absolutely not a punishment or a decline. On the contrary, it is a great unveiling. This is the sacred moment when the noisy, agitated layers of life are peeled away, revealing the brightest and truest jewel of wisdom within. Peace is not something you need to seek externally. It is something you need to awaken from within. And to do that, you don't need strenuous effort, only small, gentle, and persistent practices every day. Today, we will walk hand in hand to explore 6 Buddhist practices to reclaim ultimate serenity in old age. Relax your shoulders, take a deep breath, and open your heart to receive this spiritual gift. Practice 1. Mindful breathing. Hello, let's start with the first practice. The simplest method yet. The universal key to unlock the door to peace. Mindful breathing. My dear friend, there is a reality that as we age, our minds tend to become noisier and more cluttered than ever. We are often unconsciously dragged back to the past to ruminate on endless regrets about things left unfinished, or forcefully pushed toward the future with anxious worries about illness and the uncertainty of our final days. That relentless noise of the mind is like a thick fog obscuring the inherent light of peace. But do you know, there is a safe escape that helps you step out of the cramped room of tangled thoughts immediately. That escape is not far away. It lies right at the tip of your nose. It is the breath. The breath is the strongest anchor, the most loyal friend that helps keep your life's boat anchored to the shore of the present, where life is truly happening in the most vivid way. I want you to engrave this profound healing truth in your heart. You are absolutely not that aging and frail body. You are not the intricate wrinkles on your forehead or the hair faded by the winds of time. You are the clear awareness, the silent consciousness observing that change. The body may age according to the law of time, but your breath and your awareness are forever fresh, pure, and ageless. Right now, let's take a few minutes to practice this soul-nurturing exercise together. You can sit comfortably in a chair or lie down relaxing on the bed. Gently close your eyes. Relax your forehead and shoulders. Inhale deeply. Feel your abdomen rise and silently say in your mind, I am here. Yes, right now. You are here, complete and absolutely safe. Then exhale very slowly, very softly, as if releasing all burdens, and silently say, I release. Imagine that with the outward breath, all regrets, worries, and sorrows are leaving your body and floating away. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I release. Slow rhythm, breath by breath. When you focus your entire attention on the breath, The past that is gone and the future that has not yet arrived automatically dissolve. Only this present moment remains, peaceful and pure. Each breath is a sacred reminder that you are still alive, and that life is wonderfully precious. Practice 2. Letting go of attachment. Once the breath has brought you back to the peace of the present, we will together face a deep cause that often creates suffering in the late years of life. Attachment. The Buddha taught that the root of suffering does not lie in the events that happen, but in the mind stubbornly grasping onto things that are destined to change. In youth, we cling to the future, but in old age, we are often trapped in the sweet but painful snare of the past. Try to look back. Are you sometimes secretly regretting the image of your past golden self? Perhaps you were once an authoritative leader, a respected expert, or a steady pillar of the family. When you retired, the powerful seat was gone, the praises lessened, and you felt lost, as if you had lost your self-worth. Or take the example of children. You intensely missed the days when they were small and in your arms, and now that they are grown, have their own families, and have flown to new horizons, you feel empty, lonely, and even hurt, thinking you've been left behind. And then there are the life partners, the soulmates who once shared joys and sorrows with you, who have sequentially passed away, leaving an immense void that nothing can fill in your phone book and in your heart. All these sorrows stem from the fact that we are trying to hold on to the clouds that have already drifted by. But my dear friend, I want to give you a completely new perspective, a quote that can change the way you look at your old age. Life takes those things away from you gradually, not to punish you, but to liberate you. Ponder this. When you let go of your social role, you are free to be yourself without the burden of pressure. When your children grow up, you are released from the responsibility of raising them to return and tend to the neglected garden of your soul. Loss, viewed from a different angle, is actually an unbinding. To practice this lesson, tonight or during a moment of quiet tea, ask yourself this sincere question. What am I trying to hold on to right now that is actually no longer here? Is it the health of your 20s, the aura of the past, or the presence of someone who has passed away? When you can name that attachment, gently open your hands. Imagine you are releasing a small bird to fly into the free sky. Letting go is not forgetting, but safely storing beautiful memories in your heart and allowing yourself to live fully with what is currently present. When your hands no longer cling to the past, you can truly receive the serenity of the present. Practice 3. Self-compassion. After we have learned how to let go of external things and social roles, now is the time to turn back to face the most important person, yet the person we often treat most harshly throughout our lives. That is ourselves. My dear friend, when night falls, when the chatter of grandchildren or the day's busyness quiets down, do you ever lie awake and unconsciously replay the film of your life? At this late stage, when the time ahead shortens and the memories behind lengthen, people easily fall into a painful psychological trap called regret. We often torment ourselves with questions starting with what if? What if I had acted differently that day? What if I had spent more time with my children instead of work? What if I had not said words that hurt my spouse? Or what if I had been brave enough to pursue my dream? These thoughts are like tiny needles, silently making the aged heart, which has already endured so much, bleed. We unknowingly turn our minds into a harsh courtroom, where we are both the defendant and the most ruthless judge, sentencing ourselves to life terms of torment and guilt. But today, I want to invite you to listen to a teaching full of love and wisdom from the Buddha about metta, loving kindness. He taught that compassion is not just something we give to others, to all sentient beings. The first, most fundamental object that needs to receive that cool stream of compassion is yourself. Ponder this: how can you pour water for others from an empty cup? How can you truly love this life completely if deep down inside you still despise and do not accept yourself? To heal this wound, I want to invite you to take a journey back in time in your mind. Look back at your younger self, the one who made the mistakes you are currently regretting. Look deeply into that person. At that time, that person was naive, lacking experience and wisdom. At that time, that person was carrying the burden of making a living, the pressure of society, and invisible fears. That person had to navigate and walk in the fog. The truth is, with all the resources, awareness, and circumstances available then, that younger version of you tried their best. They did the best they could do in that very moment. The you of today, a person who has weathered life's changes, who has accumulated the wisdom of old age, is using present wisdom to judge past clumsiness. Is that fair? It is like scolding a child learning to walk for falling down. Instead of blaming, take pity on that foolish, struggling, and wounded younger person. They need your understanding, not your punishment. To truly transform this pain into peace right now, I invite you to perform a sacred ritual with me. This is the moment we embrace our inner child. Choose a comfortable sitting or lying position. Gently place your right hand on your left chest, where your heart is beating. Can you feel it? This heart has beaten steadfastly billions of times for you, never resting. For a second, regardless of whether you are happy or sad, successful or failed. Feel the warmth from your palm spreading into your chest. That warmth is a signal of acceptance and soothing. Now, take a very deep, very slow breath, as if you are inhaling love into your full chest. And as you exhale, relax your entire body. Whisper these words to yourself, slowly, gently, like a lullaby for your own soul. May I be peaceful. May I forgive myself for all my imperfections. I apologize to myself for carrying the burden of guilt for too long. I know I am not perfect. I have made mistakes, but that is perfectly okay. It is part of the human journey. I love and accept myself completely as I am. Repeat these words whenever the ghost of the past returns to disturb your sleep. Imagine compassion as a warm, refreshing stream flowing over your soul, seeping into the cracks of memory, washing away the old dust of self-torment. When you truly know how to forgive yourself, a miracle will happen. You will feel the invisible 1,000-pound weight on your frail shoulders suddenly dissipate. Your heart will become softer, lighter, and only then will you truly be ready to receive the pure, simple, yet precious joys of old age. Remember, as long as you are breathing, it is never too late to start loving yourself. You deserve peace. Practice 4. Embracing impermanence, anicca. After learning to love ourselves, our soul is now soft enough to receive a greater truth, a law that encompasses everything in this universe. That is the law of impermanence, or in Sanskrit, anicca. This is perhaps the most difficult lesson, but also the golden key to opening the door to absolute freedom in our final years. My dear friend, when we are young, we often live as if we will live forever. We are busy building, accumulating, and believing that everything will last. But when we enter this age, That curtain of illusion is gradually lifted. Impermanence is no longer a distant philosophical concept in books, but it is present in your every breath, your every step each day. You see impermanence through the changes in your own body. Eyes that were once clear now need reading glasses. Legs that once traveled every road now begin to tremble before stairs. Memory that was once sharp is now sometimes forgetful. You see impermanence through the passing of loved ones. Peers, life partners who once slept side by side, sequentially leave this world, leaving immense voids in your phone book and in your heart. You see impermanence through the transition of social roles. From a busy, important person, you return to the stillness of retirement. Facing these sudden changes, the natural human reaction is fear, resistance, and suffering. We want to keep spring forever and reject the coming of winter. But the Buddha taught that suffering does not come from change. Suffering comes from our refusal to accept that change. We suffer because we want things that are meant to disappear to become eternal. To help you find peace amidst the storm of change, I want to invite you to visualize a profoundly beautiful and deep metaphor. Imagine you are sitting under an ancient tree on a windy day. The leaves on the branches are shaking violently. Some green leaves cling tightly. Some yellow leaves sway and then detach, falling to the ground. That shaking, that falling, is the image of the body, of emotions, of external circumstances. They constantly change, arise and cease, come together and fall apart. But now, look further out. Look up at the deep blue sky behind the tree canopy. No matter how strongly the wind blows, no matter how many leaves fall, the sky remains there, still, vast, and motionless. The sky is not shaken by the wind. The sky does not cry when the leaves fall. It simply witnesses everything with immense tolerance. My dear friend, you are not the fragile leaf trembling in the wind. You are the sky. Your consciousness, the clear awareness inside you, is that space of stillness. The body may age, but the knower within you does not age. Relationships may change, but the capacity for love in your heart remains intact. When you realize you are the sky, you will no longer be terrified by the fading of the leaves. You will learn to observe the aging of the body and the coming and going of connections with a serene smile and understanding. Moreover, when you understand impermanence, you will realize a radiant beauty you have never seen before. It is precisely because everything does not last forever that the present moment becomes priceless. Look at a moonflower that blooms in the morning and withers in the evening. If it bloomed forever, would we still cherish its beauty, or would we pass it by indifferently? It is the fragility of the flower's life that gives it value. Our life is the same. Precisely because we know the remaining time is limited, every morning we wake up, see that we are still breathing, see the sunlight still shining through the window, we feel deep gratitude. Precisely because we know our life partner next to us could leave at any time, that hand-holding today becomes so warm and sacred. Impermanence does not come to steal your happiness. Impermanence comes to awaken you, to remind you to live fully, to love intensely right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Instead of fearing the end, fully enjoy the journey. Look at wrinkles as rivers of memory. Look at old age as the ripe autumn of life, where the leaves turn their most brilliant colors before returning to their roots. When you embrace impermanence, fear will dissipate, leaving only the gentle serenity of a white cloud floating by. That is the gift of freedom that old age brings to those who know how to accept. Practice 5. Non-judgment and equanimity. Once we have learned to accept the changes of impermanence, the mind naturally leads us to the next noble quality, which is equanimity, or in Buddhism, upekkha. My dear friend, there is a big misunderstanding we often carry throughout our lives, which is believing that peace only comes when everything around us is perfect. We think we can only be joyful when our children are well behaved, our health is stable, our neighbors are quiet, and the world outside has no bad news. But the truth is, this world has never been and will never be perfect according to our subjective wishes. If you put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket or into external circumstances, you will forever live in insecurity. True peace does not come from a circumstance without a storm, but from a mind that is not stirred up right in the eye of the storm. And the greatest enemy stealing that peace is the habit of judging. Be honest. As we age, we seem to become more demanding, more easily offended. We look at the fashion of the youth and shake our heads in disapproval. We watch the news and get angry about the state of the world. We are annoyed when our children and grandchildren go against our wishes, or frustrated just because a dish doesn't taste right. Our mind constantly labels, this is right, that is wrong, this is good, that is bad. Every judgment, every dissatisfaction is like bending down to pick up a heavy stone and putting it in your pocket. One stone is fine, but imagine picking up hundreds of such stones of frustration throughout an entire day. By the end of the day, your soul is heavy, exhausted, and utterly weary. You carry the whole world on your shoulders simply because you refuse to let go of what displeases you. The best quote I want you to remember here is, "Judgment is you voluntarily carrying heavy stones that do not belong to you." So what is equanimity, tamsa? It is not indifference, apathy, or neglecting the world. Equanimity is a state of absolute inner balance. It is like the calm surface of a lake reflecting the sky. White clouds pass by, the lake reflects white clouds. Dark clouds pass by, the lake reflects dark clouds. The lake sees everything, reflects everything honestly, but it does not scream, "I hate dark clouds," or cling, "I only want white clouds." It accepts everything as it is, by its very nature. To cultivate equanimity and let go of the burden of judgment, I invite you to practice a small exercise in your daily life. It is the technique of recognize and name. Next time when you feel discomfort arising, for example, when someone says something unintentionally offensive, or when you have to wait a long time at the clinic, instead of letting anger sweep you away and starting to complain, stop for a moment. Turn inward and gently name that emotion. Ah, this is judgment. This is dissatisfaction. As soon as you recognize it, you separate yourself from it. You are no longer the anger. You are the observer of the anger. Then, take a deep breath and tell yourself this mantra: I choose peace over perfection. Be aware that, does your anger make the other person change? Does it make the waiting line shorter? No. It only raises your blood pressure and diminishes your sleep. So why punish yourself for the mistakes of others or for objective circumstances? Letting go of judgment is setting yourself free. You allow everyone to be themselves, with all their flaws and mistakes. You allow life to unfold in its natural flow. When you stop resisting reality, stop demanding that everything must be my way, you will see a vast space of freedom open up. You will become a kind-hearted elderly person, a towering tree radiating cooling energy that children, grandchildren, and everyone wants to be near. Because next to you, they are not scrutinized, they feel accepted, and most importantly, within you, the heavy stones have been cast off, leaving a soul light and vast like the sky. That is the peak of the art of living peacefully. Practice 6, presence and gratitude. And finally, we come to the 6th practice, the most beautiful practice to close all worries and open the door to the joy of life. Full presence and deep gratitude. My dear friend, as we age, there is a harsh but also very awakening truth we must face. No one can guarantee that tomorrow will come. Time is finite. It is precisely because of this finitude that every moment lived today becomes a priceless treasure. Many people spend their final years worrying about death or regretting the past, and unintentionally lose the only gift they truly possess, which is the now. The Buddha taught mindfulness, understood most simply, is the ability to be completely present in the current moment. Don't let your mind wander anymore. Bring it back to this body, right here. Turn the smallest daily activities into a sacred ritual. For example, when you drink tea every morning, don't drink tea while your eyes are glued to the TV or your mind is busy thinking about your children. Just drink the tea. Hold the teacup with both hands. Feel the warmth spreading across your skin. Smell the gentle, fragrant aroma and taste the sweet, bitter flavor on your tongue. In that moment, it is only you and the teacup. That is freedom. That is happiness. Or when you go to the garden to tend the plants, don't see it as a chore to get done. Touch each leaf, feel the life flowing in the stem, gaze at the soothing green under the sunlight. When you water the plants, be aware that you are nourishing life. That connection will bring you strange peace. Or when you play with your grandchildren, instead of worrying they will fall or judging their parents' way of raising them, try to be completely present with the children's laughter. Look into their clear eyes. Listen to their naive stories with your whole heart. When you are truly present there, you will find that you are not aging. Your soul is becoming youthful again with that innocence. There is a wonderful quote I want you to remember as your guiding principle. You don't need more time. You need more presence. 1 hour lived deeply and mindfully is worth more than a year lived in delusion and worry. And coupled with presence is gratitude. When you slow down to observe, you will realize how much life still favors you. Be grateful that you still woke up this morning, while many others did not have that chance. Be grateful that your feet can still walk, even if a little slowly. Be grateful that today's meal is still warm. Gratitude has a miraculous, transformative power. It is the antidote to fear. You cannot be both grateful and fearful at the same time. When your mind is filled with appreciation for what you have, the fear of what you will lose automatically dissipates. Presence dissolves past regrets, and gratitude dissolves future anxieties. My dear friend, never think that you are too old to find joy. Happiness does not discriminate based on age. Happiness is waiting for you right in your morning cup of tea, in the smile of a loved one, and in every in and out breath. It is never too late to start living the most radiant and peaceful days of your life. Cherish the present, for it is all we have. The journey to reclaim peace is not about finding a new horizon, but about seeing the old horizon with new eyes, the eyes of compassion and wisdom. May you be peaceful and joyful in body and mind. May you let go of unnecessary burdens to live as freely as the clouds in the sky. and may you always find freedom right in your own heart. If this video brought you a little warmth, please subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. Goodbye, and see you again.